大家好，我是 Olive Branch 的 Alan. So these days there's a lot of trends on eating vegetarian or vegan diets or plant-based or just pescatarian or fish-based only. And because there's a lot of concern on the health of eating red meat. So in today's video, we'll be talking about specifically what is red meat, what is processed meat, and how do they affect your health? What's the good, what's the bad? So first let's talk about what red meat is, as that is the main topic of concern. And red meat is basically any mammalian muscle meat that can come from rabbit, cows, pork, lamb, goat, horse, even Processed meat, however, is meat that actually you've done something to it. For example, like salting it or curing it, adding any flavor compounds like marinades or smoking it, fermentation. These are all forms of adding flavor or preservation of the meat. So then that becomes a processed meat. The reason why I'm mentioning in both red meat and processed meat is because there was a WHO, a World Health Organization, report actually from the IARC, which looks into the cancer of certain things in our lives. And the IARC report, based on this monograph in 2015, looked at red meat and processed meat, and it rated it according to its standards and all the studies that they've done to determine the health risk of eating red meat and processed meat. So the first thing I want you guys to understand is the IARC's categorization of risk. So they have four main groups. The first group, group 1, is that it is carcinogenic to humans, meaning it causes cancer. Then there's group 2, which is actually broken up into 2A, which means it is probably carcinogenic to humans, and 2B, possibly carcinogenic to humans. Group 3 then is it's not classified, whether it's carcinogenic or not. They don't really know, or you can't really classify it. And then there's group 4, which is it's probably not carcinogenic to humans. So understanding this 4 rating system, they actually rated processed meat as group 1. So it is carcinogenic to humans. And then red meat is 2A. It's probably carcinogenic to humans. Now let's unpack that a little further. So why they rate it as probably carcinogenic to humans is that red meat has a protein that when you digest it, your gut flora, the bacteria living in your colon, it starts to digest it, and it creates these compounds called TMAO, TMAO compounds, and they think that these causes cancer. Now, it's important to note that everybody has a unique microflora, and so each one of us will react differently to this protein in red meat. And so some of us might have more TMAO compounds than others if we eat the same type of red meat. The other main negative effect is when you're charring meat, when you're trying to cook the meat and it turns brown or crusty, it produces a lot of HCA compounds, which they also believe is linked to colon cancer. It actually damages the gut, and so that's why they say it's not so good to burn meat. Now, there's a lot of studies that show you that when you eat a lot of broccoli or Brussels sprouts or these cruciferous plant products or even spinach and other greens, that it actually mutes the amount of HCA compounds that gets produced and absorbed by the body. So there are some studies that actually show you that eating a lot of green vegetables help to combat that, which is why a lot of steak, they usually come with a side of greens. That perhaps in all the years of eating steak, they figured out in ancient wisdom that this is a good combination of food for health reasons. The other thing that you guys need to understand is that when they did these studies, and they noted this in the study, that they did not control for all the other factors that's relating to people's health when they're eating the red meat and seeing what their effects are, and which is they did not control for whether the cows were grain-fed or grass-fed, whether the cows are having antibiotics or hormone injections, the type of meat that they're eating, the cut of meat, the cooking method, or the cooking temperature. All of these factors will affect the nutrient and how your body will react to it. And so this is actually a major hole that we don't have any good conclusion on. So just to give you some examples of IARC's categorization of certain foods and things, under group 1, which was what processed meat was filed under, you'll have other things such as air pollution, PM 2.5 air pollution. They'll have tobacco smoking, alcohol, and even salted fish, 咸鱼, Chinese style. They're all grouped as Group 1. Group 2A, however, we have the red meat classification, which is filed under, has things like glyphosate, which is the pesticide that farmers use to spray their crops with. We have frying anything in high heat is 2A. We also have mate, which is green tea in South America, really hot green tea. That's also classified as 2A. Now, 2B, the next classification, just below red meat, they have stuff like Chinese pickled vegetables, like pao tai. They also have aloe vera, which is that jelly substance that they say is good for your skin. That's 2B. And they also have radio frequency, which is your mobile phones when you're making phone calls. That's using radio frequency. That's all classified as 2B. So my main point on this is that we need to consider the dose response, which is it's a term used to understand the concept of how much of something poisonous will determine how bad is it for you. So there's everything in life could be considered good or bad for you, like water, and we talked about this, or salt. At a certain point, you do need this for life, but after that, it becomes dangerous. So that dose is how much you're receiving it, and the response, how your body responds to it. So just like meat and air, oxygen, if you have too much of it, it's not going to be good for you. Okay? After a certain point, it becomes dangerous. So getting the right dose is important to know if it's good for you or bad for you. But these reports don't actually tell you what is the right dose for you, and it is very different for each person. So just remember that. And everything that you're eating or drinking, anything that people tell you is good or bad for you, you need to consider the dose, how much of it you're taking it before it actually becomes really bad for you. Now, there are lots of good benefits to eating red meat. Okay, everything before that was all negative, and it's all based on the WHO IARC report. So I just want to clear that up. But there's a huge list of benefits. Nutritionally speaking, it actually covers all your macronutrients. So it has great protein, it has great fat ratios as well. It doesn't have the carbohydrates, which is actually a good thing. And then it has actually lots of great vitamins and minerals, especially iron and hemi-iron. These things are all really essential for your body. And it even has all the essential amino acids, all the important proteins that you need for rebuilding your body. So I'm not going to go into the details in this video right now about all the benefits, but know that it is a very complete source of nutrition if you do eat high quality meat. Okay guys, so that's it. I just want to wrap it up by saying that it is a complicated field when we're talking about nutrition and meat in general. Even when we try to make it more specific, red meat and processed meat, there's still a little bit of gray area about how much of it becomes good or bad. So I just want you guys to have a little bit of better understanding so that you can make your own decisions about eating, whether you want to become a vegetarian or a vegan, or you want to have a good balance of meat and vegetables. It's all up to you guys. Unfortunately, the science has some information, but it's not crystal clear on what is the best for you, as we are all different. You do want to be careful, and I've just highlighted some main points for you to think about as you choose your own diet. So that's it guys, I hope you found it useful. Please leave any questions or comments below, and I'll see you next time.